You were created for something more. Some days you're chasing your dreams. Other days you wonder if you took a wrong turn. Welcome to the Faithfully Empowered podcast. I'm Lisa Landry. Let's trade self-doubt for bold faith and step fully into the life God designed for us. New episodes every Thursday. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Let's live faithfully empowered. Welcome back to the Faithfully Empowered podcast. I'm Lisa Landry. Today we're talking about succession planning and why, as a leader, you should always be training your replacement. You've probably heard the phrase, leaders create leaders. But let me ask you, is that how you've experienced leadership? Because I've seen both sides, and I've worked under leaders who have raised people up, and I've worked under leaders who have kept people small. And I don't know if it was out of fear or just plain old laziness. One story in particular has stayed with me. I'm preparing to leave a role, and I was talking with my boss about who was going to take my place. And she said, "There's no other Lisas here." And while on the surface that sounds like a compliment, it may be a way of saying that I was irreplaceable, I really didn't like the truth behind her words, because she was right. There wasn't another Lisa, but there were other people that if she took the time to invest in them, then they would be able to take my place. And she shook her head, and she didn't want to pull them from their current spots because they were too valuable where they were. She would have rather hired somebody from the outside. And that revealed that it wasn't about protecting the team, but it was more about her lack of confidence. We tend to talk about confidence like it's only a personal thing. My voice, my identity, my clarity. But confidence also shows up in how we lead. Here's the test. If you're truly a confident leader, you don't hoard knowledge. You don't cling to a title like it's your lifeline, and you don't keep people small. When a leader can't release, can't delegate, and can't train up, it's not usually because the people aren't capable, it's because the leader is afraid. That day with my boss showed me what I now call the leader's confidence gap. It's a gap between knowing someone has potential and actually letting them step into it. And the silent fear underneath that maybe sounds like, if I let them rise, what happens to me? That's a scarcity mindset in action. And here's the problem. When leaders lead from scarcity, everyone shrinks. Teams plateau, innovation dies, and morale tanks. But when leaders lead with God's abundance, everyone grows. Here's the difference I tried to live out. I was always training my replacement. Part of that was my personality. I never stayed in any one role longer than 2 years until the very end of my corporate career. I was restless, I wanted to grow, and I had dreams. But part of it was faith. I believed if God gave me this role, He'll provide the next one too. I don't need to grip it so tightly that no one else can touch it. So instead of hoarding, I multiplied. And that meant that I could take vacation and my team could handle things. And when you lead like that, you never lack opportunities because God can trust you to steward people well. This isn't just corporate wisdom, it's kingdom truth. Jesus gave us the model. He didn't hoard his power. He spent 3 years pouring into 12 ordinary men so that they could go farther, faster, wider. And then he told them in John 14:12, "Whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things." Greater things. Can you imagine greater than what Jesus did? That's not insecurity. That's confidence so rooted that you actually celebrate when others surpass you. Paul took that baton and kept running. In 2 Timothy 2:2, he said, "The things you have heard me say, entrust to reliable people who will also be qualified to teach others." Do you hear that chain reaction? Paul, Timothy, reliable people, others. That's 4 generations of impact. That's what happens when leaders trust instead of hoard. So let me circle back to that overlooked employee I mentioned earlier. He had so much untapped potential. He could have been promoted a dozen times, but he never got the tap on the shoulder or someone to tell him that he was capable. Why? Because he was so good at his current role, no one wanted to carry the short-term pain of training someone new. So he stayed stuck. And let me tell you, that broke my heart because I knew he could carry so much more. Leaders, I want you to pause right here and ask yourself, who in your world is waiting for that tap? Who has been overlooked because it was easier to leave them where they are? Maybe it's a team member, maybe it's a volunteer at church, or maybe it's even someone in your family. Confidence in leadership means giving room to rise. Don't let your lack of confidence keep people small, because here's the truth. Confident leaders ignite confidence in others. So let me leave you with this thought. Confidence isn't just about what you accomplish, it's about who you raise up. It's about the legacy you leave when you stop clinging to control and start releasing others into their God-given potential. This week, I want you to take a quiet moment with God and ask, who have I overlooked? Who is ready to step into more? Who needs me to hand them the baton? And then be bold enough to act. Send the text, have the conversation, open the door. Sometimes it won't go well. You will have to help pick them back up, reinstill that they are capable, and coach them to success. But sometimes they will surprise you and they will run with that ball. And that is just one of the most fulfilling things about leadership that I've experienced. When you lead with God's confidence, you're not just building a career, you're building the kingdom. If this message resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. Leave me a comment below. And if you're looking for support to build confidence and step into your calling, subscribe to my weekly newsletter and learn more about the resources available to you at faithfullyempowered.com. Have a great week.
Thanks for spending time with me today. If this episode encouraged you, I'd love to hear from you. Share it with a friend, leave a comment, or let me know where you're tuning in from. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you'll never miss what's next. Until next time, stay rooted, stay expectant, and live faithfully empowered.